And happy Monday, everybody. We are back. We took a week off last week so everyone can watch the national championship between Ohio State and Notre Dame. But here we are back in action. It's episode 170. Myself, Danny Torres. We've got Brandon H. Brandon L. cannot join us tonight. And we've got Janka. So we're going to get into our usuals because we've got lots to talk about. Let's go with good news first. John, hit me with the good news for the past week.
Good news. Congratulations to Ohio State and the national championship. Jeremiah Smith, rookie from South Florida, representing. Um, good. Shout out to our boy Isaac.
Yep.
He just got married this past weekend. Me and Daniel were there. Isaac and Emily Gomez. So, anything else? I know Daniel just sent it to me like 2 seconds ago, but the Miami Hurricanes schedule just released. So if you want to see it, go at Canes Don't Stop. You already know. Anything else? I'm gonna be going to MegaCon in 2 weeks, so I'm excited for that. But overall, it's been pretty good.
Okay, Brandon.
Well, a few good things. Also, again, because of the Canes schedule, shout out to September 20th. Interesting tailgate. But no, man, I mean, good thing. Well, actually, I took my dad out to see a comedy show, Jerry Seinfeld Friday at Hard Rock Live.
Nice.
So it was nice, great show. You know, Jerry was very open to the people. The moment that he came out, I was like, "Oh, get the phones out. You know, it's all about the phones now. Get your pictures in. You know, get whatever you want in." But actually, a weird twist at the end, though. So that's gonna go into my other part of the plug. So
Okay.
the good part's seeing Jerry. There's another part to it, though.
All right. So okay, Janka kind of took mine, but I'm gonna have to say it. I'll have to say a couple words. For you guys that are PlugTalkSports OGs, know that this obviously I created PlugTalkSports and I started it up, but Isaac was the second guy in, and he was with us for a while. He moved on. He's a married man now, as Janka said. He moved on to bigger and better things. But everything that you guys see, I mean, he was our executive producer. Everything that you guys see from our graphics, from our intro, I mean, all that was put together by Isaac's hand. So, and that's just Plug Talk Sports. Just our friendship. Me and Isaac met in 2019 when we both started our careers out at FIU. And it was kind of full circle moment. I saw him get married yesterday, and I strictly remember sitting in an FIU game, and this was during work, and I remember us talking about what we wanted in our own personal relationships, and I remember so many countless stories, not only that night, but talking about Emily, and then fast forward so many years from 2019, here we are. I got to be a groomsman and be part of the process and see him and Emily get married. And he's become like a brother. A brother to me. We're good friends. And he knows anytime he wants to come on and talk some crap, he's more than welcome. But yeah, man, that was the plug of the week for me, is to see my good friend, my brother Isaac, get married to the love of his life. So it has to be Isaac. Janka, what's something bad?
Bad? I think we saw a lot of bad. I mean, we didn't get to have the show last week, but it would have to be the Lions losing.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect that, but hey, it happened. The Chiefs winning yesterday, that happened. We're gonna get to that later, but yeah, that happened. What else? Bad. Yeah, just the Chiefs game actually is the one that hit me the hardest, the most. But overall, I mean, it wasn't too bad. It was whatever. I mean, besides work every day, like every other person.
Brandon?
Well, the connection. So basically, after the show's over, right? And I don't know, for those who don't know about in Hollywood, the Guitar, Hard Rock Live, the little venue they have back there. Now, I'm in the 300 level because I obviously can't pay for no floor seats for Jerry, right? I'm the 300 level. There's this lady, a little bit bigger lady, a little bit older lady. She's leaning forward to get up from the show is over. She leans too much though. She goes over a chair and like a cartoon flat plank, she bongs her head on the concrete floor of the 300 level. Like, and I heard it leaving the door. Like I'm outside and I hear it before I leave. It was like the most, again, praying that she's okay. I assume that she's okay. You know what I mean?
If not, you would have heard about it later on at night.
Yeah, I would have heard about it later on, unfortunately, on the news. But no, I mean, like, I just looked at my dad and we're just like, you know, we were bound to go help her, right? But of course, like 15 other people went over. But then we all just kind of like stared at her. You know what I mean? Until like, you know, of course, you know, the staff was there, and of course, you know, paramedics was there as well, just in case. So, you know, my dad and I were just like, we gotta get out of here. And it took like a whole half hour just to get out of there because of that. Closed down escalators. People didn't know how to get off the stairs for some reason. It was just mayhem. I mean, the craziest, again, out of like far left fields, out of a comedy show to see that. So that was, again, you know, crazy scenario, but probably the bad part of my week.
For me, I mean, I don't think anything bad.
Oh, actually, something did happen
What?
for you. I don't want to mention because I don't want you to go through it again. The Cowboys and the new hire.
Why did you? I was already gonna say that.
Oh, I don't know. You were trying to find something. I'm like, all right.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. There you
Read 'em
go.
like a book.
I know, bro. So yeah, the Cowboys had a couple interviews. Names that I mean, the only name I was really interested in was Kellen Moore, who they interviewed. The Deion Sanders thing, I don't know where that was going. I still don't have an opinion on that. I still don't know how I feel about that. What did the Cowboys decide to do? Mike Schottenheimer, who he's been in the league a long time, but has not had a head coaching job. Didn't even call the plays last year. Yet Jerry thinks that this is the best direction that the Cowboys can go in. And, you know, I don't want this to be one of those moments of like, oh, look, you said all that and then look what happened type of thing. Like they find success in him, because it could happen. You never know. But it's sad, man. It's sad. That's all I can say. It's so sad. And a lot of people are like, you know, we should just not go to any more games anymore because this is just terrible. You know, what are they doing? There's no more answers, guys, I can say to you or to our viewers about the Cowboys. I really just, at this point, it's just like, what do you want me to say? Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not surprised. You know, these things happen all the time. It's not a surprise to me. It's just things keep happening. They keep doing the same thing. So I'm not surprised. So that's my reaction to that. Yeah, it was bad. I agree it was bad. But, you know, I hope the guy proves me wrong. And that's all I got to say about that. We're going to get to talk to football, because in the NFC Championship, the two teams in my lovely Cowboys division fought for the NFC Championship. And we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. And, well, if Brandon L. was on tonight, he would probably have told us, I told you so. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. They defeated the Washington Commanders 55-23. I wish the Commanders could have made it a little bit more competitive. But unfortunately, the luck for Jaden Daniels ran out there, and I knew it was just going to be a long afternoon when Saquon Barkley and the Eagles' first play of the game is a 60-yard touchdown run. I already knew. Once that happened, I was like, yeah, it's not going to be a good afternoon. But the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, and Yeah, it was 3 touchdowns from Saquon Barkley in that game against Washington. All I can say for Washington is that they have a great, great, great future ahead of them for what's to come under Dan Quinn and for that team.
Look, I don't really believe, right, in miracles, but the fact that Detroit didn't make us a run for it, the fact that Tampa Bay wasn't even more effective because of Washington, I really did believe in miracles for DC. I thought, the Commanders were going to go out, be competitive, show this offensive firepower that we've seen from Jaden Daniels all season long. And they weren't even able to put up even an inch of that. I mean, Jaden Daniels only have one passing touchdown throughout this one. And then, what is it? 2 snaps of the ball and 2 touchdowns from Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
I mean, if you were a gambling man, you'd be having a field day. 7 rushing touchdowns, 2, of course, from Saquon. My apologies, 3 of them from Saquon, and a pair from Jalen Hurts in that tush push. But all 5 to them, though. I mean, I know Brandon L will probably be on here, so like, well, it was probably most likely going to happen because their path or whatever, or they have like the type of roster they do. Well, I mean, yeah, I hate to admit it though, the offense is probably one of the best offensive teams in the NFC, proven to this point today, because it's nearly foolproof. The only thing that could mess them up will be maybe if they just shoot themselves in the foot. Unfortunately, they can't even do that from a tush push, which they know how to execute a tush push. We'll talk about that later with the AFC game. And they know exactly how to execute things in the run game as well. On top of that, with Saquon Barkley. I mean, the guy is averaging close to 200 yards rushing per game at this point. So this was just an absolute displacement against Washington. Now, not mad that Washington was in the way of Detroit this year. And not going to lie, might have been a closer game if Detroit was there. Might have been a different outcome if Detroit was there. But, Dan Quinn nearly made his way to his second Super Bowl appearance. And quite frankly, again, as you said before, Washington does have a future. How bright is it with Philadelphia in the driver's seat of that division right now? I don't know how bright it is, but a few wild card games are in their favor.
I don't know if I wouldn't say that the Eagles dominated because just because for this fact that the Washington Commanders had 4 turnovers, 3 of them were fumbles, and 1 of them was just an interception. So I mean, if 3 of those fumbles didn't happen, we'd be looking at a very different game. Maybe Eagles still do win, maybe by a touchdown or just maybe like 10 points or so. But I'm not willing to say the Eagles were the better team because I think the Lions, I think, were the best team in the NFC. But they were just decimated on the defensive side with like 14 injuries. It's like gotta try it next year. But I gotta give credit where credit's due. Saquon Barkley, bro, AJ Brown, everybody, they're doing their thing over there. Cooper DeJean, like the Eagles look really good. They do what they have to do, and they get it done. Like even though it doesn't look as flashy, or as like dominant as the Lions do it, but they get it done. And I gotta agree with Daniel, bro. Like the Commanders, if they can get that defense like tightened up and a little bit more organized, and maybe just an extra weapon for Daniels, I think that team can be really scary for the future.
I've been on record saying that I have not, and this is not just out of a Cowboys fan. I've been on record saying I don't find the Philadelphia Eagles to be that impressive. I still don't think they're impressive. But the thing is, they just have found ways to win ball games. That's all it is. They have found ways to win ball games, and the dominoes fell in their favor. I think I agree with Brandon. If this was the Detroit Lions, I think that this maybe could have been a closer game. It would have been a much tougher game, and maybe the result and the outcome may have been different. But the dominoes fell. Washington beat Detroit on the road, which was very upsetting because I had Detroit going all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, same.
And they choked. They choked big time.
If we're gonna say Detroit choked, it would have to be because of the turnovers. So are we gonna say Washington choked?
Well, I think if you
No,
put
because
it
they're
in
not
that
supposed to be
perspective,
there.
yeah. Well, no, I mean, look, let's also put it in perspective though. The turnovers by Washington, they weren't like, oh, he just tipped the ball in the air and someone caught
It
it.
was
You know what I mean?
fumbles.
There were fumbles, but I mean like hard hitting fumbles. I mean, we're talking about and guys coming in punching balls out of receivers' hands, and then also the one on special teams off of a kick return.
Yeah.
That one's just put up Philadelphia in the red zone. You know what I mean? So I mean, John, I totally understand your standpoint of, were they dominating throughout the game? You know what I mean? Was it just the turnovers that set them up in good? I mean, we're talking about like what, 2 or more touchdowns off of those
I'm
turnovers.
saying.
So I mean, it's a big difference. I mean, there has been a team throughout this postseason run in the NFC that's won a game and lost that turnover battle. So that's also a huge part that we're probably have to see from Philadelphia. Philadelphia, how many times have you even talked about them turning over the ball? Has Saquon even fumbled recently? Has Jalen Hurts thrown any picks, sixes, interceptions, anything like that? I mean, from those guys, and still another crazy thing about it, because we always talk about the offense, that Eagles defense is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, from the pass rush to, and of course we talk about DeJean and all that stuff, but I mean, my goodness, man. I mean, can anybody be able to produce like at least 3 touchdowns going up against this Eagles defense? Maybe we get to see that with Kansas City Mahomes. I know we're going to talk about it later on in the show, but this defense has been lights out this postseason. So honestly, if there was, besides again the fireworks going off with Saquon and all that stuff and this rushing game, I mean, shout out to this defense. Held Green Bay away, and honestly held Washington at 23 points, three to four turnovers throughout the game. I mean, held what most people would say and agree with, offensive rookie of the year, to a minimal game. Probably one of his worst games this season.
So here's the thing with the playoffs. We see throughout the years, it's not usually the best team is the one that comes out on top. Because I think we can all sit here and say that, yes, the Eagles were one of the best teams in the NFC, but were they the best team in the NFC? I think we all thought it was Detroit. And again, it's just, I think they choked, Jonka. That's what I'm going to say. I think they choked. And it set the dominoes to fall easily for the Eagles. Because I think if Detroit would have won against Washington, then Philadelphia would have to go to Detroit, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Then, yeah, I think, honestly, that flips the whole script. And that changes a whole lot. And the fact that Philadelphia got to host the NFC championship game at their house against Washington, a team that they play twice a year as a divisional opponent, and they know very well. I mean, piece of cake for them.
That game, if it would have happened, would have been either the most boring game or the most exciting game in NFL history because of all the running there was going to be. It was going to be run and just waste the clock for both sides. It was going to be waste the clock, run. Gibbs, Barkley, Montgomery, bro. That game would have been crazy, man. I would have paid so much money to see that, bro. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So we could just hope that happens next year and we get to see that matchup. But unfortunately, we're headed into a Super Bowl. I mean, we're gonna hold off the Super Bowl talk. We're gonna be heading into a different side of the sport. But go ahead. I'm gonna save it.
So this takes us to the AFC Championship. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills. And before we get into the game talk, I just want to tell you guys that since 28, and this is just a wild stat, since 2018, the Chiefs have been involved in every single AFC Championship game. In 2018, they faced the New England Patriots, which they lost. In 2019, they faced the Tennessee Titans, which they won. Then in 2020, they played the Buffalo Bills, which they won. In 2021, they played the Cincinnati Bengals, which they lost. They faced the Cincinnati Bengals again in 2022, and they won that one. And then in 2023, they played the Baltimore Ravens, which they won. And then this year, Buffalo Bills, in which they won 32-29. And where do I even start? The Chiefs, again, are another team that were not that impressive. Had a good record, but they found ways to stay in the game and to win ball games. And I'm sorry to say it, Jonka, but a lot of your New England teams that won Super Bowls throughout the regular season were not that much of an impressive teams. And they would get by games, and there would be years where people were like, no one's really talking about New England. It's just when they would get to the playoffs, you had Tom Brady. The same thing here with Kansas City. They have Patrick Mahomes. And in this game, I really thought for a moment towards the end, Buffalo's got this. Buffalo is going to do it. There was a close call at the end there with the first down, which I'm not going to lie to you. It did look like Josh Allen crossed that line. Obviously, it has to be the football that crosses the line. And, hey, you got some fans here, man. You've got some fans.
Hey!
Yeah, I know who that is, bro. I know who that is. That's not a fan, bro. That's not a fan, bro. That's not a fan, bro.
That's a lover, bro.
Is it more of a troll?
That man has been a good friend of mine. Also, shout out Highway Temptation. He has a little YouTube thing for people who are YouTubers, so he's doing the grind there. Shout out him.
Shut up.
Yeah, but don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Now.
Yeah, man. Hey, brother. Look, I appreciate you reaching out and talking about Brandon's fantastic beard and the hair. But listen, brother, I was about to get into it about Mahomes and the Chiefs, and you just kind of ruined it. So I'm gonna go back and talk about Mahomes and the Chiefs. We'll leave Brandon's looks for another time. Yes, I think that was a first down by Buffalo. And I think that if it would have been a first down, I think the Bills could have taken the ball further and ended it, got another score. I have to say this. At the end of this game, Kincaid had to have caught that ball. Yep. It was in his hands. I don't know if Buffalo would have scored on that drive because this is more of a shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing or, hypothetical. But that ball was in his hands. And if he would have caught that like he should have, boy, would that play have gone down in history for Josh Allen. I mean, come on. The man throws up before every game. The least you can do is just catch that ball for him. Do you see how depressed he looked at the end of that game? The man looked destroyed. And this is a man that's engaged to Haley Seinfeld. That man looked destroyed. But again, I'm telling you, the Chiefs, they just find ways to win ball games. And here we are. Again, third year in a row, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. They have the chance to do something no NFL team has done, and that's get a three-peat. And what can I say for Buffalo? I mean, they've been in this position before. It's like, what more can they do? In Josh Allen's head, it's probably like, what more can I do to beat these people? I don't know what else I got to do. But yes, I mean, there's controversy in everything Kansas City has done this season when it comes down to referees. Do I think it's suspicious? Absolutely. But you know what? They need to use the phrase, and I'm not going to mention names. You guys probably know when I say it, but you got to use the phrase too big to rig. The Buffalo Bills need to open up a lead there towards the end that is too big to rig for the referees to, help the Chiefs get back in this thing and come back. You can't give Mahomes the lifeline. And also, towards the end, Buffalo's defense, the offense was doing great, but their defense was not stopping Mahomes and the Kansas City offense at all. So there's not much you can say there. The defense didn't help that much in the end. So Chiefs, once again, they finished 15-2. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, though, and also I hate to say where it is, though, but as a Dolphin fan, I'm actually really happy about this. All right, Buffalo not going to get even close to a chance to the Super Bowl. This is the 2019 Houston Rockets. This is James Harden Rockets.
Oh my God!
All right,
man.
you get right there, and it's just too far. But you know what? I feel a little bit more dragged in to say more things about this because I feel like don't let the numbers lie to you. Xavier Worthy had a great game. Yes. Patrick Mahomes over 240 yards passing. Yes. No turnovers across the board passing wise. Yes. But don't let the numbers lie to you about Josh Allen. If that guy had any football IQ besides just replaying and recalling play calls, and again, a horrible coaching management, I'll go into that as well. If Josh Allen just, instead of going out to his right and saying, screw it, let's bomb it downfield. I mean, Josh Allen is so good. We're blaming Kincaid on that. If you ask me, Josh, it's 5 yards. I know you got legs. I know you can give enough time to roam around the field. How many times have we seen Josh Allen run to his right and just bomb it down? Yeah. I mean, he never gets picked off in double, triple coverage unless a flag is thrown late. I mean, I even saw that. And I hate to always bring it back up, but I still recall week 18, 2023 would never leave my mind. Josh is throwing it up, banks off a guy's helmet, and a guy catches it at the back of the end zone for a touchdown against Miami. I still remember that. And it's the dumbest thing that makes Josh Allen highlight reels. It's the dumbest thing in my life I'll ever see it. And one of the reasons why Josh Allen will never be in a Super Bowl and the Buffalo Bills guarantee with Josh Allen era will never make it an appearance to the Super Bowl.
Not
all right,
an appearance.
The tomfoolery is ridiculous. The guy has no football IQ. He's just, again, an athlete. They got the kid out of Wyoming to play football in the Buffalo snow. I mean, what is not a match in heaven, if not that?
I don't know, man. He played like the MVP this year.
No,
and to be honest with you, Josh Allen is notoriously known for cooking the Dolphins.
Yes, in some way. But I'll say this, though. All right. Buffalo, a very physical team. I mean, when you look at that entire team, it is like, my goodness. Every single player on there can arm wrestle Shaquille O'Neal and win if they wanted to. All right. But there's like no IQ out there. I mean, from the head coaching standpoint, we were going to talk about this earlier. The tush push that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills try to replicate when they have Johnson behind him. No tight ends. No one else behind him. I'm glad that the referees didn't go the way of Buffalo with that one. Because, man, after how many times have they tried that with the same formation, with the same guys, and he didn't get it? And it's like, wow, I mean, maybe we should try something else, coach. Maybe we should try. They didn't try anything else. They didn't even try to, like, put an extra guy behind Josh. I couldn't believe it. I mean, hell, you might as well put Josh in shotgun and have him run it. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. It was a poor class, and I don't even know how many times they went for two in Buffalo. But for them to go for two multiple times and see them lose by a field goals margin just tells you, just go for the points. Get the guaranteed points in. I understand being aggressive. You know, as you mentioned before, Daniel, getting that type of lead, you can't rig. But, again, I mean, you look at Buffalo, and then you look at Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid, the reason why they win games, besides, of course, their superstar talent, they're smart. They know what they're doing. They know how to make the offense run. You got Xavier Worthy, his first year in this type of situation, deep in the playoffs, 6 receptions, 85 yards, averaging 14 each catch with a touchdown. His first appearance in an AFC Championship game, and you got him playing like that. Buffalo's defense looked lost in the passing game. And also, congrats to Kansas City for adding in more of the rushing game this time around. I honestly didn't expect that from them going against an aggressive Buffalo team. But outclassed in every single way. And Josh Allen, who doesn't have a football dialect in him, besides the fact that he's just a straight athlete, couldn't really brush by it. Close, but couldn't brush by it.
Jonka, I can't wait to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, when I got back home after this game, I rewatched a condensed version of it. Um, and I didn't go to sleep till like 1 a.m., bro. Uh,
This guy
I
was out here watching film.
oh yeah, I'm telling you right now. I don't know, Daniel. You said that for teams to technically beat Mahomes, you gotta have like a 3 touchdown lead. That's unrealistic. Who's possibly doing that? No one's ever done it. So I don't expect for that. That's unrealistic to expect from NFL teams for that
I'm
to happen.
saying, no, man, you misunderstood me. I'm saying it. You got to make it too big to rig in the sense that you got to have at least 1 or 2 touchdowns so that the referees do not come in the last minute of the game and help out the Chiefs to get them to tie the game. That's what I'm saying.
Well, this is my problem. The Chiefs fumble the ball. Funny enough, a supposed illegal formation is called on the Bills. Oh, there you go. They get the ball back because that cancels out the fumble. Oh, the scramble and Mahomes passes it, and I forgot who the quarterback is, but they both catch it at the same time, and the ball hits the ground.
Yeah.
That should be incomplete. That automatically gave Mahomes right there from the 4-yard line easy touchdown. That's already 7 points right there. What was the other one? The 4th and 1, the most controversial call of the night, right? Chris Jones and I forgot the other guy, the other lineman's name. They were I forgot what's it called? Neutral zone infraction. They were offsides. Period. So that should have been called. Why wasn't it called? No one knows. What's the other one called, bro? There was oh yeah, that's right. The blocks behind the back of the holding calls on that long punt return. No calls. That basically gave Kansas City another good field position to basically score again. And then Travis Kelce, when they did score, he just ran up to one of the Bills players, taunting.
I did see that.
And the guy was like, "Yo, what the?" And he was like, "Yo, where, real bro? There's no flag, bro. If it were us taunting, they would have automatically thrown it, bro. 31 other teams, if they did that to Kansas City, they would have thrown the flag for taunting. Why didn't he get it? Oh, shocker! It's Kansas City. All right. Well, listen. If I'm a fan of the other 31 teams, I wouldn't even watch the Super Bowl just to show Roger Goodell how we're fed up with this BS. Because, like, seriously.
That's a strong, bold statement.
Listen, how Roger Goodell, look, I understand that all this cheating accusations and stuff is getting really big right now, right? But the thing is, it's been since last season and a lot of this season where games have been really called on like legit one possession games in favor of the Chiefs, and then whenever the same thing happens against the other team, they don't call it. How Roger Goodell has not been calling an investigation on these referees or those Chiefs games just tells me everything I need to know that he's in on it, like straight up. Because it doesn't make sense. There was a lot of controversial calls. I don't see any referees coming out saying, "Oh, this should have been changed. That should have been called." Nothing. No justice whatsoever. And how a multi-billion-dollar NFL company has not invested in putting microchips into the football so that we don't have to be having 2 idiots with striped shirts guessing to see if he crossed the line or not is ridiculous to me. I don't care how many Surface Pros you have in a box in the corner of the sidelines. There should be, bro, tennis in live time. You get the line, bro. You see it. If the ball's on it already, automatically 2 seconds after the game, the match is already done. You get it.
Soccer has VAR.
Soccer has it. Oh, what was the other one? Baseball. They're already saying strike zones, bro. It's automatic. Why doesn't football have it? Because that's the only way they can manipulate it. On that 4th and 1, on the play before it, Dalton Kincaid, his legs were on top of the corner, I think the safety's body. That means he's not down. That's declared the ball was crossed the line. That should have been a first down already. And then Josh Allen goes, he gets the first down. I think he got it. Boom. Why wasn't it called? 2 instances where he got first down and they didn't call it. So that's just, I'm not saying they need to call everything, but I'm just saying the bias towards one side versus the other was ridiculous to me. I'm not taking away anything from Kansas City because they played well. The running game, I'm surprised, like what Brandon said, they actually ran it. And I was actually surprised. I didn't expect that. I thought they were going to give it to Kelsey, Worthy, and I forgot his other name.
Well, really,
Juju.
anyway.
Juju surprised me, bro.
Yeah.
Juju was there out of nowhere. But it just makes no sense to me. And then the worst thing is that we have to, after every yard they gain, no matter who it is, if it's Mahomes 1 yard, Kareem, Kelsey, 2.7 seconds later, Taylor Swift. Yeah, because she's screwed because she's made the NFL 2/3 of $1 billion in 2 years since she started dating that idiot, and now we have to suffer for it no matter what they do. If it's
here's the crazy part: she has more Super Bowl appearances than Josh Allen. Think about that for a second.
Oh my God!
But also, Jonka. Actually, one of the biggest ones, in my personal opinion, the most controversial one of the night that you mentioned before, that catch, specifically Worthy at the 4-yard line, that was picked off. I mean, the ball's under the guy's hand.
Man.
I mean, it's like it doesn't even hit Worthy's chest until after they scrumble for it on the ground. So now is the NFL rigged?
I'm not saying it's rigged for everybody. I'm just saying the calls that the referees are making are moving towards the Chiefs so that they can prosper. Everybody else, fair game.
Brandon, let's be honest here. You and I can be honest here. These last several years, you know what it feels like? It feels like New England. That's what it feels like. It's what it feels like.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be real. New England wasn't this annoying.
We're stuck in the Super Bowl again with these damn Patriots back in the Super Bowl, and America wants them all to lose.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, like, I can watch the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I'd be like, this is an entertaining Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm watching these games.
Not that Rams one, though. That Rams one was boring.
Well, for a defensive, if you're Aaron Donald, all right, or if you're like a huge defensive fan, maybe that might be a little different. Everyone will see that as a Stephon Gilmore type of game or whatever, or that one catch Gronkowski. But either way, though, I'm watching these games, and it's like every single time the Chiefs, it's like they're down by 10 or 7. They're going to the 4th, and it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo has a chance. Maybe Brock Purdy has a chance. Maybe Jalen Hurts has a chance. And then it's like they give up a touchdown. The Chiefs move down the fields. They get stopped, and there's a holding call. And I kid you not, look at the replay of every single Super Bowl in the past 2 years or whatever that Kansas City's been a part of.
That's 3 years.
There's been a penalty, and for some reason, the Chiefs just run it out.
Well, and that brings us to the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. We've already seen this matchup in the Super Bowl. Mahomes got the best of Jalen Hurts the first time around. I think, listen, there's no way in hell you're ever going to hear out of my mouth that I'm going for the Philadelphia Eagles. Ain't no way in hell. I hate both of these teams. I'll be honest with you. I might not even go for anybody. I hate both of these teams. But I have to be honest. The Chiefs' defense are going to have to show up, because if they think they can just get away to how they have been this entire season and get away against Saquon Barkley, it's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. And for the Eagles, we already know they have a good defense. Mahomes is going to have to figure out something, and we know how he gets frustrated when things aren't going his way. So I definitely think the keys to the game are for Philadelphia to continue to stick to their game plan, run with Saquon Barkley. He's having a special year. It's the Chiefs that need to figure out how they're going to stop him. I think if Kansas City figures out a way how to stop him and they can get their offense going, they got a lot of weapons. Kansas City has a lot of weapons on offense. So if they can get that going and stop Saquon Barkley, the Chiefs are the champions. If it's the other way around, Barkley gets going and the Eagles defense can shut down Kansas City, the Eagles are champions. That's the way I see it.
I don't know. It's tough because if let's say they try to stop Saquon, where you're gonna add another guy in the box, and then you're gonna have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith both on both sides, and you got Goddard at the tight end. Like, it's gonna be tough when you have weapons. It's tough just guarding the run or just protecting the outside. It's gonna be very difficult. Like I will agree, and then especially you have Jalen Hurts who can run it.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs play like how they played against the Bills, the Eagles are gonna smoke them by 30. Like there's nobody catching Saquon. But the thing is, like, man, is AJ Brown, because I know AJ Brown did catch a touchdown yesterday, but I think everybody is gonna have to be on their A game. They need to relive that Super Bowl from 2 years ago where they lost, where they were that close. The game was actually pretty good. They need to relive it, see what they did differently, try to find some tendency that Mahomes has, and utilize it to their advantage. But for the Chiefs, if they want to win it, yeah, it's that simple, bro. If you can avoid Saquon from running, you have a better chance of winning that game because Jalen Hurts. I don't trust Jalen Hurts that much at throwing it. He can still throw it, but not to the level where he can just give it to Saquon and let him do the thing.
I think, yes, you talked about Devontae Smith and you talked about A.J. Brown. They had those guys. The X factor here is Saquon. You take Saquon out of the game, we're going to get the same Jalen Hurts that is not confident with the football in his hands. He makes mistakes. He chokes. And that's what we're going to get.
But the one thing is that there hasn't been a team this year. One team this year there hasn't been where they've stopped Saquon. And
just having a special year, man.
And Hurts hasn't really had to use his receivers that much. That's why you saw AJ Brown reading a book on the bench. He's just like, all right, I'm fed up with this, bro. I don't even need to be out on the field for nothing, bro. So Kansas City Chiefs, you better watch out, bro. Like as much as you like to get down on your knees for the refs, I'm just telling you right now, don't sleep on the Eagles, bro, because they'll catch you, bro. Saquon will go for a 440, or you got AJ Brown on the other side and Devontae Smith, and you got Goddard, who's actually not gonna lie, he impressed me this year. They're good, bro. They're good.
Look,
you can go, Brandon.
Look, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm a big fan of Hard Knocks. I'm a big fan of the offseason Hard Knocks front office edition they did with the Giants. The clip that gets me every single time, besides the fact that the GM's son was right about Jaden McDaniels, it's the fact that the owner, during the whole conversation about Saquon, was, it would kill me if he goes to Philadelphia. It would kill me to go to Philadelphia. If Saquon was to happen to win a Super Bowl the first year out, and again, I know they are going to go back and run it one more year again with the same head coach and GM combo in New York, but just imagine what that would happen. That clip will be airmailed everywhere on Twitter that same night that they win it.
If that were to happen, I think the GM of the Giants should get fired.
Or at least step out. At least
fired. Out. You wouldn't even have the moment that clock hits 0, hey, you're fired.
But I'm telling you right now, though, I know you guys don't really believe in Jalen Hurts, though, but Hurts throughout these playoffs has been really effective. I mean, we talk about the Commanders game. Very lopsided, 246 yards passing, 1 through the air score, a touchdown. Brown, 96 yards. Goddard, 85. Smith, 45. They most likely put these numbers up again against Kansas City secondary. The real question, as you guys mentioned before, with Saquon, the running defense of Kansas City, how effective is that? And vice versa. And let's say Kansas City does, out of the blue, run like they did against Buffalo again, aggressively like that with the playbook. How would they react to that? I honestly think that Philadelphia defensively is a stronger team. I know that Jones is going to be out there in the front lines in the trenches over there for KC, and there's a lot of veteran presence in that. But this should be a Philadelphia win, though. I honestly feel real confident about that. I think they have more pieces on that part. But at the same time, There might be some black magic in
It's
works.
just you never bet on Mahomes. I've learned
There
already.
might be some black magic in the works. But for Hurts to lose a Super Bowl, an SEC country in New Orleans, it would be rough for the Houston, Texas native. It would be rough for the SEC, who's, again, already going through a horrible college football playoff, to see that happen. But yeah, honestly, I have the Eagles, though. They should, keyword should,
Let me
win
see
it.
something. What James Cook had 3 receptions for 49 yards. Wait, rushing, my bad. Right, yeah. 13 carries for 85 yards. He also had 3 receptions for 49 yards. That was basically the best running back performance they had. But
Yeah, and 2
overall,
touchdowns.
yeah, and 2 touchdowns. The longest one was 33. Buddy, you give that to Saquon Barkley, he's turning that 85 yards into 170. Straight up. He's doubling that. Hey, I'm telling you right now, bro. Do not give Saquon the breathing room to do it. But hey, guess what? I'm not talking to the Chiefs because screw you. So let's go Eagles.
So I promised you guys it was a main course for dinner of football. And for dessert, we have some basketball. And yes, we're going to talk about the man that we've all been talking about for about a month now. Because this is what he likes, right? Attention. If you guys don't know, we're talking about Jimmy Butler. Today, the Miami Heat have suspended him indefinitely. And indefinitely for them means about 5 games because the trade deadline is coming up. Which, honestly, if you think about it, it's smart for the Miami Heat. 1, you're not wasting money because he's not getting paid. And 2, he's not risking getting an injury by playing, so he's healthy for a trade. What are my thoughts on Jimmy Butler? Well, how did this suspension come about? He was coming off a 2-game suspension for missing a flight to Milwaukee, where apparently the team was waiting for hours, and he sent someone a text and said, "Yeah, I'll meet up with y'all in Milwaukee." Okay? And then today, coming back from the 2-game suspension, Eric Spoelstra has every right to do whatever he wants. He's the head coach. He has the right to do what he wants with his players and his team. He told Jimmy Butler that he would not be in the starting lineup and he'd be coming off the bench for this game. And the guy just got his stuff and left practice. We've seen it before. We saw him do it in Minnesota where he just was in a scrimmage with the reserves where they beat the starters and he just got his stuff and walked out. Look, Jimmy's hurting himself. He is not helping himself at all. His trade value, not only his trade value, but his respect from people, his marketable
Marketability.
brand is going downhill. He's not helping himself because he's not conducting himself as a true professional. I think people just see him as a big baby who, when things don't go his way, oh, well, I'm going to create a whole bunch of drama. He's done this in every single team that he's been a part of, every single organization and franchise. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably gotten away with those things in other organizations. But you know what? Dwayne Wade said it best on his own podcast. Who knows Pat Riley really well? Pat runs the ship here. You're not going to get into a challenge with Pat and win. You're going to lose. Pat runs the things in Miami, and if you don't like it, you can pack your bags and send your fanny somewhere else, and he'll be petty too. Pat will be petty. He's like, all right, you want me to trade you? I'm going to trade you to Utah, and you're not going to win crap over there. You're going to go be in Utah and see how you like it over there. That's how Pat is. You're not going to win a challenge against Pat. But honestly, I lost a lot of respect for Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy. And I was defending him at the beginning of the season, saying, I love Jimmy. Jonka said a lot of things about Jimmy, and I've defended Jimmy on this show because I loved his personality, the way he is as a person and as a player. He's a great player. But this I cannot defend. I think that he has been so unprofessional. He's acted like a little child, and I don't think it's helping himself at all. And yeah, a team will take him, a team that's very desperate to get a player, to get a piece. They'll take him. But they won't be surprised where he does the same thing all over again when he wants out.
Look, I truly do believe, and this has to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. the locker room's gone at this point now. Because beforehand, it was like Jimmy talking about, oh, it's not about the guys, it's not about the locker room. I still love the guys here. I mean, we're talking about a game you're not starting. A game you're not starting. You're not even happy for Highsmith. You end up taking your stuff, leaving practice, shoot around early in the same day of the game. That's insanity. I don't think I've ever seen or heard anything like that in the NBA since I've been alive. So this is, again, from the Heat standpoint, I mean, a good riddance for these guys. I think the only friend at this moment that I can confirm really that's on this guy Jimmy's side will probably be Kevin Love, because if you've seen his Instagram, it's like probably the best way to categorize in, like, you know, in chronological order, just where is this saga going? And I think Jimmy Butler recently put something on IG as well saying no job to Kevin Love. But either way, though, this is definitely one of the most wildest things I've seen in the Heat in a long time. I mean, this is even more wild than when they said that Tyler Johnson was getting $60 million. You know, I still can't believe that. But for Jimmy Butler in his situation, this suspension to again, as you said before, hypothetically 5 games to potentially lead on to this trade deadline. It's a lot of money in the works if they can't find it. Because the real issue is, who can they trade with? How big can this even happen financially? And will Jimmy even sign off these things? Because people talk about Phoenix, and it's like, well, Bradley Beal's got to sign that trade clause. You know, he's got to sign off on the whatever trade that happens with him. And that's really the only other guy I can imagine that will even be a part of a deal like that. If this doesn't happen, Jimmy's going to be losing money. He's going to be on this team for the rest of the year, losing money. I mean, and again, this is an all-star player. Like, you know, I think the crazy thing about it, this is still a top 20 NBA player currently that's acting like this. I mean, but yeah, I mean, his time with the Heat is over. If not spelled out from this, definitely spelled out from the past month that he's had with the Heat. And if he wants to go to Phoenix, sure, go to Phoenix. Not even a top 10 team in the West. You know, he doesn't, I don't even think he cares anymore. I think he just wants to get paid. And he's not going to get that here in South Beach.
No.
I think we just should have seen this coming when every season he would just be lackadaisical in the regular season, do whatever he wanted, do all these little stunts for picture day, media day. He would always, it was always something with Jimmy Butler, bro. But I was like wondering at some point, after all this losing, and after making the finals twice and losing it, and yet not making any adjustments, how long is the bomb gonna tick until it goes off? And funny enough, last month it went off, and then all this happened. I don't know what to say anymore. The guy makes $49 million. He has a $52 million player option if he were to take it, which I doubt he's going to do it. But if I'm the Heat, the situation I have is, okay, let's say you don't make a trade, right, at the trade deadline. Okay.
Which I think, sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
which I think, to Brandon's point, there's a lot of pieces involved to a trade happening. But I think it's disastrous if Miami does not move him before the trade deadline, because then you're stuck with a guy. And to be honest with you, if you get stuck with him, I don't see him playing another game in the Heat uniform. I think that he just might sit out the rest of the year.
Keep him hostage. Keep him hostage.
The only reason, if you don't trade him at the trade deadline, you're stuck with him, like you said. But the point is, he'll walk free in free agency, and we get him for nothing. We lost him, and we get nothing.
Or, because we're talking about a player option here.
He takes it?
If he is just like, I lost a lot of money at the end of the year, and this team wants to go their separate ways, screw them. And again, I'm not saying that it will be complete suicide. I think it'll be complete suicide for everyone. But I think Jimmy Butler's the type of player to do that. Like, you know, crazy hypothetical. Let's say, hypothetically, it does happen. Jimmy returns to the Heat out of spite, and they still have to trade him past this offseason, but screws them over long term. Like, would Pat Riley win in that situation? It will be the only way Jimmy Butler wins in this situation.
That's diabolical.
Yeah.
I listen. If let's say Jimmy Butler continues to do stunts before the trade deadline and continues to be a detriment to this team, if I'm Pat Riley, I'm like, you know what? I'll take a loss. I'm sending him to the worst place to possibly live and the worst team in the NBA and let him suffer because he wanted to be such a big baby and a pain in the ass to this organization who basically gave him whatever they could possibly give him. Because it's not like Pat Riley didn't try to get stars to him, is that those stars were in trades and the teams were asking for a ridiculous amount of players and money for him, and it was not going to happen. So I don't know. I need to find out what happened, bro. Because he said it wasn't the extension. So was it? Is it like a secret fight that happened in the locker room? Is it did somebody call him out on his BS for being half-assed in the regular season? What was it? Because things aren't adding up.
I think, and I agree with Brandon. I think that locker room is gone. The last game where they played against Milwaukee, before the game where they do media availability, they were talking to Tyler Hero, and obviously they asked him about Jimmy's serving a 2-game suspension now, and he's not here with the team. And Tyler's answer was really, really, really revealing. Tyler's answer was, "Look, I believe in what we got and what we got in the locker room. You can't really think about someone who's coming to work one day and one day not coming to work." And I think his answer right there, I was like, "Yikes!" He just pretty much called Jimmy out for like not caring about his job, not coming to work one day and going to work the other day. It was really revealing. So that locker room right now, there's probably a bunch of opinions. There's probably maybe a divide in the locker room. Who knows? I definitely agree. Kenny said on TNT the other night where they played Portland, the guys are playing hard, but are they playing with enthusiasm?
I think their energy is so drained from this drama that they can't really focus on basketball at the moment. And then like
Hard.
it is hard.
Every question from the media is about Jimmy.
It's like, bro, like, do you want to know what I did about the third quarter after that missed shot or something? No, nothing like that. It's, oh, Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. But like, here's a trade possibility though. Would you, as Pat Riley, if you were him, would you accept this? You pull an Oklahoma City Thunder, right? You trade Jimmy, but for a bunch of first round picks.
Absolutely. But where would the
If
money
Go-
go?
Yeah.
if Gobert was worth 6 first round picks, and I want Jimmy Butler numbers, bro. I want at least 8 for the next future. Because if he's gonna send them to wherever he's gonna send them, I want first round picks. Forget the player. I just want picks. And then that's what we're gonna find out. Si de verdad,
Hey,
Pat Riley is the guy for the draft. Because
but
if you don't pick up a star with all those picks, I'm gonna have an issue.
But I tell you what, though, that's probably the best thing possible. Weird money wise, but again, tonight, a lot of time played on the floor in Miami. Won a double overtime game against Orlando. Heat won 125, 119. Tyler Hero, 30 points. Kellen Ware, 19. Bam Adebayo, 26. Robinson, 15. Off the bench, Jovic, 15. Rozier, 11. Multiple double-digit scores. The team's going to be fine without Jimmy Butler. And I think Eric Spoelstra saw that, didn't put a lot of minutes for Jimmy, and Jimmy got pissed off about it. So if he gets minutes, he can go to New York if he wanted to. Go Tom Thibodeau, 40 minutes. Go with your former coach, whatever.
Yep.
But I'm telling you right now, because, John, I know you said like you want to know exactly what happened. I guarantee you, they weren't going to give him the money on top of that, and they were forcing him to leave, giving him less minutes. I mean, we're in the Tyler Hero stages now. Tyler Hero, after all the trade talk, I'm not even a Heat fan, but I have to say, kudos to you, man. After all the trade talk, and you're still out here on this franchise,
but that's that's what he did. Tyler said, "All right, look, I'm involved in a bunch of trade talks. I'm gonna buckle down. I'm gonna prove my worth. I'm gonna work hard." And that's exactly what he did. Look, he's balling this year. Jimmy, on the other hand, got his feelings hurt and said, "No, I want to leave and I want to get out of here," and creating all this drama. And it's only a little bit between the fans start to turn on you. We saw at the Reserve Paddle Cup this past weekend that Jimmy was at in downtown Miami, where there was a fan who verbally said something to him about this whole situation. He got pissed off. I want law and order, but God forbid someone goes and vandalizes his coffee shop because they're just pissed in the way that he is behaving. So, he's making enemies. He's not helping himself, like I said.
Yeah, but the coffee's good though. I would say that though. For $8 a latte, it's actually good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is. I agree.
It is good. If the coffee shop, that's the only thing I want staying in Miami, Jimmy Butler wise. If the coffee shop stays, then it's a win for me. Pat Riley, I can care less, but it's a win for me.
Only shop that matters, if you get this, bro.
That's true.
That one's number 1 in Miami. Big Face number 2. Can't forget. But yeah, I mean, again, for Jimmy though, when he gets traded, and hopefully within these next few days, the jersey will be 50% off. And as a Celtic fan, I'll frame it to remember the rivalry. It'll be the end of a 5-year Celtics Heat spurt. So
before we go, I possibly think the reason he got mad was because the extension, they lowballed him because of how much he doesn't really try in the regular season and how he's aging already. He's getting a little bit more injury prone. And you're like, well, we need extra money to go get you a guy that you're complaining that you don't have, that we don't have.
Yeah.
I think that's what set him off. Like, no, because what if you don't get the guy and I'm screwed over by 50 million or 25 million, whatever the difference is. I think that's what set him off. And he's like, all right, you know what? You guys don't care for me. Whatever. I'm gone.
It could be. It could be. With that, guys, that is going to end our episode for the night. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching in episode 170. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week for a brand new episode. Have a